Hello everyone, this is Ferdinand Ortiz from the highest point in Twente, the Netherlands, and this is Tankenberg News. On March the 8th, a South Carolina man was executed by firing squad, having chosen between that, lethal injection, and the electric chair, after having been sentenced for the murder of two persons and attempting to murder his, at the time, girlfriend. The two victims were his girlfriend's parents. The events took place in 2001. The news is linked below. This is the most just news of the year 2025, in line with the doctrine of American jurist Stephan Kinsella. You can find a link to the 20-page essay below for a clearer perspective on punishment and proportionality. The general principle of libertarian theory, that everyone is free to do with their body and property as they wish, as long as they do not initiate force against other people's bodies and property, outlines how you renounce proportionally those rights which you have trespassed, violated, and obliterated in others. To argue against capital punishment and the execution of an intentional killer who has been shown in a due process of law to be guilty is to claim that the execution is as unjust as the original action which he took, namely the use of deadly force against an innocent, and this is incorrect. A broken clock is right twice a day, and in this case of state enforcement, justice has prevailed. This, of course, is not the current position in most Western jurisdictions where capital punishment has been abolished for the most part. That is definitely the case in Costa Rica, my home country. Yet, the state does not dictate what entails justice. The state oligarchy of legislator dictators simply dictate what you will be forced to accept as rules when the armed men called the police come to enforce them on you. This is called enforcement and compliance. This is why, as a point of educational and intellectual perspective, we have linked the paper by Stephan Kinsella here on the description of this video, the paper on punishment and proportionality. As we mentioned earlier, the danger of politically based conceptions of justice enforced by the state is you end up with an upside down world where justice is forbidden and injustice must be accepted, as in the true case that we mentioned in a previous episode. Linked below if you want to hear more about that case. In other news, on the 9th of March, FC Twente defeated Almere City FC. This, of course, is good news to a Costa Rican in Twente, as everyone remembers Bryan Ruiz from Costa Rica, who had the honor of playing for FC Twente. A search on Bryan Ruiz at twentefans.nl, twentefans.nl, I will link that below, will show the line: Bryan Ruiz is een van de beste spelers die ooit het shirt van FC Twente heeft gedragen. Literally, Bryan Ruiz is one of the best players to ever wear the FC Twente t-shirt. Coming up this year, on May the 3rd, the Agorism mini festival will take place in Emmeloord in the province of Flevoland. For those interested, you can visit www.agoris.me, www.agoris.me. Link is in the description below. For those interested in the political philosophy of Agorism, quoting from the simple English Wikipedia, Agorism is a free market anarchist political philosophy founded by Samuel Edward Conking that has the ultimate goal of bringing about a society in which all relations between people are voluntary exchanges, a free market. The term comes from the Greek agora, referring to an open place for assembly and market in ancient Greek city-states. Agorist theory divides people into two classes: people who make their living through the market and people who make their living by coercing others, called the economic class, the political class, respectively. So in the market, you have peaceful people exchanging goods and services. And in the political sector of the people, you have those who finance themselves by extortion, intimidation, theft, and so on. A donation of about 40 euros took place in the blockchain, and we do not know if it was Roger Ver, Paul, whose Bitcoin Cash YouTube channel we follow, linked below, or the Agorists. But we remain ever thankful to those who support our efforts towards a more just and free society. Since I am not yet a resident of the country, and I am going on my third year living in the Netherlands without being able to work for my family, all support is appreciated, very much appreciated, even if it is just in the form of linking, liking, and subscribing to the channel. So please share the videos with family and friends. If you read the references in the description, you will see how we try to create a unique content, unlike anywhere else. We have received some comments and questions from our viewers in response to recent videos. Remember, you can always write to us via email. My email is in the description below. A commenter from Belgium said, Tankenberg News has 20 views and one comment from a billionaire. Ridiculous. Well, as the president of Argentina, Javier Milei, who, by the way, shared our interview with economist Walter Block on X, linked below, has often said, quoting the Deuterocanonical book of the Maccabees, it is not on the size of the army that victory in battle depends, but strength comes from heaven. Another commenter said, the Netherlands and Costa Rica were never part of the same crown. Here, I have a copy of the book The Habsburgs, Embodying Empire by historian Andrew Wheatcroft. There you will find a map showing the Habsburg Empire in 1580, where you can see how what it is now called Costa Rica and what is now called the Netherlands were both Habsburg possessions under the category of Spanish territories and claims. So you can see that there. If you would like to buy a copy, I will link where you can do that below. I am not sponsored by historian Andrew Wheatcroft or anything like that. I just like the book. Another commenter said, you like to present yourself as some kind of independent journalist. Who, in your opinion, is the best journalist of the country where you now live? Now, I should say that I am just a guy hiking and making YouTube videos. So while I have done, obviously, clearly some journalistic work, the fact of the matter is that I was very influenced growing up in Costa Rica by the work of Parmenio Medina. Parmenio Medina Perez was assassinated, but he was highly inspiring. I will link to his Wikipedia page below. And as far as Dutch journalists go, I have to say that putting aside all ideological differences, since I am a libertarian and he was a leftist, without a doubt, the greatest journalist from the Netherlands who ever lived, in my opinion, was Willem Oltmans. Here I have Willem Oltmans' book, when he went and interviewed the people of the Club of Rome. The fact that the Dutch government had to pay 8 million gulden, guilders, for not letting him work and damage to his reputation is a victory worthy of respect by ANCAPs everywhere. You can see his website below. I will put a link to Willem Oltmans' website. Very interesting fellow. Not only is his victory against the Dutch state an inspiration to all, but then, before the internet, when those in political power were adulated obsequiously, he went directly to the centers of power and interviewed those who were considered influential. Without a doubt, Oltmans was an inspiration to go interview Thierry Baudet in the Dutch parliament for the Argentine podcast, No hay almuerzo gratis, and to reach out and interview high-profile influential economists of world name, like Professor Miguel Ancho Bastos, and Dutch jurist Twan Manders, who we also interviewed on No hay almuerzo gratis, both linked below. So here I have a copy of Oltmans' book, where he interviewed members of the Club of Rome, and I think he even went and interviewed Noam Chomsky at the time, so quite impressive. Another commenter wrote, "You present yourself as a very bookish man of letters. Who is your favorite Dutch writer?" My favorite Dutch fiction writer is Ferdinand Bordewijk. And this is my favorite Dutch novel, Karakter, door Ferdinand Bordewijk. Now, of course, I studied law. Bordewijk was a lawyer, and that really comes through in his writing. So I can relate to a lot of the topics and themes that he brings up. If you are interested in purchasing one of my wife's paintings, which have been used as background in interviews such as the one that the president of Argentina, Javier Milei, referred to on Twitter, X, you can always contact me via email. So far, her works have sold in international markets to American, Spanish, and Dutch buyers. And in the weather today, as you can see, the weather is shitty. From the highest point in Twente, the Netherlands, I am Sebastian Ortiz, and this is Tankenberg News.